At some point, you have to stop waiting. You have to stop waiting for the right person to appear, the perfect chance to arrive, or the perfect feeling to guide you. Maybe you have been hoping that someone will understand what you need. Maybe you want a friend, a mentor, a partner, a family member, or even a sudden opportunity to pull you out of the place you are in. Support can help, advice can help, love can help, but none of those things can live your life for you. No one can build your habits in your place. No one can make your difficult decisions for you. No one can protect your future while you keep choosing what is easy today. This may sound hard, but it is also freeing. If no one is coming to save you, then you no longer have to wait. You can begin with what you have. You can take one useful step without permission. You can stop handing your power to people who may never understand your situation. Many people lose years because they stay in a waiting position. They wait for motivation before they work. They wait for confidence before they speak. They wait for support before they change. They wait for life to become fair before they take responsibility. The problem is that waiting feels safe. As long as you are waiting, you do not have to risk failure. You do not have to face rejection. You do not have to discover how difficult the work may be. But waiting has a cost. You remain in the same place, while time continues to move. The longer you delay, the more normal delay begins to feel. Soon, you stop seeing it as a choice. It becomes part of your identity. You may start saying, "This is just how my life is." That sentence can become a prison. Your life may be difficult. Your past may be unfair. You may not have the same support, money, health, time, or opportunities as someone else. Those facts matter, but they do not remove the need for action. Personal responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything that happened. It means choosing what you will do next with the reality in front of you. That choice is where your power returns. You do not need to become a completely different person today. You only need to stop waiting for someone else to begin your change. This audiobook will help you do that. You will learn how waiting steals your strength, how blame keeps you stuck, and how small actions rebuild self-respect. You will also learn something deeper. Saving yourself does not mean doing everything alone. It means becoming an active part of your own rescue. Chapter 1: The Waiting Habit. Waiting can look innocent. You may tell yourself that you are being patient. You may believe you are waiting for a better time, more information, or the right mood. Sometimes patience is wise, but there is a difference between patience and avoidance. Patience still includes preparation. Avoidance keeps you busy while nothing important changes. You may spend hours watching videos about discipline without building a routine. You may read advice about confidence without saying the thing you need to say. You may plan a new life again and again while continuing the same habits every day. This creates a strange feeling. You feel mentally active, but your real life remains still. The mind likes this position because it gives you the feeling of progress without the discomfort of action. You can imagine a better future. You can talk about your plans. You can feel inspired for a few hours. But inspiration without action becomes another form of escape. The waiting habit often begins with fear. You may fear choosing the wrong path. You may fear wasting effort. You may worry that people will judge you if you fail. Those fears are understandable, but they become dangerous when they control every decision. The truth is that many useful steps will feel uncertain at first. You will not always know whether a plan will work. You will not always receive clear support. You will not always feel strong. Life rarely gives complete certainty before action. Most of the time, clarity grows after you begin. A person who wants to change careers may not know the perfect job at the start. They can still update their skills, speak to people in the field, and apply for one useful opportunity. A person who wants better health may not know the perfect routine. They can still improve one meal, walk each day, or sleep at a better time. A person who wants peace may not know how to heal everything. They can still leave one harmful situation, write honestly, or ask for professional support. Movement creates information. Waiting only creates more waiting. There is another reason delay becomes powerful. Every time you postpone a task, you feel short relief. The pressure drops for a moment. Your mind remembers that relief. The next time the task appears, it asks you to delay again. This is how avoidance becomes a learned habit. The task does not disappear. It returns with more weight. You now carry the original task, the guilt of delay, and the fear that you may never change. A simple action can begin to feel like a huge challenge. You may see this in your own life. A message you need to send stays unsent for days. A room you need to clean becomes harder to enter. A form you need to complete remains open on your phone, while you avoid looking at it. The action may take only a few minutes, but the emotional weight keeps growing. This is why starting quickly matters. You do not need to finish everything immediately. You only need to interrupt the habit of waiting. Open the document. Put on the shoes. Write the first sentence. Make the call. The first action tells your mind that you are no longer only thinking. It changes your position from passive to active. Waiting can also come from hope. You may hope that someone will notice your struggle and offer the exact help you need. Sometimes people do help, but building your life around that hope is risky. Other people have their own fears, limits, and responsibilities. They may care about you and still not know what to do. They may want to help and still be unable to change your situation. When you expect another person to create your direction, you give them too much power. You also create resentment. You may start thinking, why does no one understand me? That pain can be real, but the answer is not to stay frozen until someone finally understands. The answer is to understand your own next step well enough to take it. This does not mean rejecting support. Strong people ask for help. They seek guidance, learn from others, and accept care. The difference is that they do not make support a condition for action. They can say, I would value help, but I will still begin. That sentence protects your future. A waiting habit can last for years because it feels normal. You may have learned it from your environment. Perhaps decisions were always made for you. Maybe mistakes were punished heavily. Maybe you were taught to seek approval before trusting yourself. These experiences can explain your hesitation, but explanation is not the same as permission to remain stuck forever. You can learn a new pattern. Begin with smaller decisions. Choose one task without asking many people what they think. Complete one promise before speaking about the next goal. Notice how it feels to act from your own direction. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. That does not mean it is wrong. It may simply mean you are using a part of yourself that has been quiet for a long time. The waiting habit becomes weaker every time you choose a clear action. You do not have to defeat it in one day. You only have to stop feeding it every time it speaks. Today, choose one thing you have been delaying. Do not create a perfect plan. Decide what the first 10 minutes should look like. Then give those 10 minutes to your future. That is how waiting begins to end. Chapter 2. Stop giving your power away. Power is not only money, status, or control over other people. A large part of personal power is the ability to choose your response. You may not control what happened yesterday. You may not control another person's behavior. You may not control the economy, the weather, your childhood, or every problem that enters your life. But you still have choices. You can choose what you give your attention to. You can choose which habit you repeat. You can choose whether you ask for help, leave a harmful situation, learn a new skill, or continue making the same excuse. These choices may feel small, but they shape your direction. People often give their power away without noticing. They say, I cannot change because no one supports me. They say, I will start when my situation becomes easier. They say, I would be confident if people treated me better. There may be truth inside those statements. Support makes growth easier. A stable situation reduces stress. Respect from others can help confidence. But when your entire future depends on conditions outside your control, you place yourself in a weak position. You begin waiting for life to become kinder before you become active. Life may not follow that schedule. Taking your power back begins with honest language. Instead of saying, "I cannot do anything," ask, "What part of this can I influence?" The answer may be small. Perhaps you cannot leave a difficult job today, but you can begin learning a skill at night. You may not be able to repair a relationship alone, but you can communicate clearly and set a boundary. You may not control how someone sees you, but you can stop building your identity around their opinion. This shift does not solve every problem. It changes where you place your energy. Blame uses energy to explain why you are stuck. Responsibility uses energy to create movement. You may have valid reasons for feeling angry. Someone may have hurt you. A person may have failed you when you needed them. A system may have treated you unfairly. Ignoring those facts would be dishonest, but carrying them as your main identity can keep the pain alive. You can say what happened was wrong and still ask, "What do I need to do now?" Both statements can be true. You do not have to forgive quickly. You do not have to pretend the pain was useful. You do not have to trust someone again simply because you want peace. Taking your power back means refusing to let another person's choice control every future choice you make. That can take time. Healing is not a switch, but each small decision can move you away from the place where the harm began. You also give power away when you depend too much on approval. Approval feels good. It tells you that you are accepted, safe, and understood. The problem begins when you cannot act without it. You may know what you need to do, but you keep asking different people until someone gives you permission. You may hide your real opinion because you fear losing acceptance. You may choose a life that looks good to others while feeling empty inside. This creates a quiet form of resentment. You blame people for controlling you, but they may not know how much control you gave them. Freedom requires a difficult choice. You have to accept that some people may not understand your direction. They may question your new habits. They may prefer the older version of you because that version was easier for them. You do not need to fight everyone. You can listen, think carefully, and still make your own responsible decision. Taking advice is not weakness. Blindly obeying every opinion is. A useful question is, does this person understand the life I am trying to build? Another useful question is, has this person earned the right to guide this part of my life? Not every opinion deserves equal weight. Some advice comes from wisdom. Other advice comes from fear, jealousy, habit, or limited experience. You need enough self-trust to tell the difference. Your attention is another form of power. Whatever receives your attention begins to influence your mood and behavior. If you spend hours comparing your life with strangers, you may feel behind even when you are making progress. If you keep returning to old arguments in your mind, your body continues to live inside the conflict. If you consume negative content all day, your mind may begin to expect danger everywhere. You cannot control every thought that appears. You can choose which thoughts you continue feeding. This is why protecting attention matters. You may need to reduce time on certain apps. You may need to stop checking what someone is doing. You may need to leave conversations that repeat the same bitterness without creating any solution. These choices are not dramatic. They are ways of taking your mind back. Your daily schedule also shows where your power is going. A person may say that a goal matters, but their time may be going toward distraction, worry, and tasks chosen by other people. Look at your day without judgment. Where does your energy go? Which part of the day belongs to your future? Which habits leave you weaker? You do not need to control every hour. You need one protected space where your important work can happen. Even 30 focused minutes can become a form of power. During that time, you are not reacting to the world. You are building something. Taking your power back does not mean becoming cold or selfish. It means becoming responsible for the life you are able to influence. You can care about people without carrying every problem. You can love someone without allowing disrespect. You can be kind without abandoning your own needs. Healthy responsibility has boundaries. It understands that your life also deserves protection. The next time you feel powerless, pause before accepting that feeling as a complete fact. Name what you cannot control, then name what remains in your hands. Your next action may be small, but it is still yours. Use it. Chapter 3. Responsibility is not self-blame. Some people avoid responsibility because they confuse it with blame. They hear the words "take responsibility" and think it means everything is your fault. That is not true. You did not choose every difficulty in your life. You may have been born into a hard situation. You may have faced loss, illness, rejection, abuse, financial pressure, or responsibilities that came too early. You may still be carrying the effects of choices made by other people. Acknowledging those facts is important. Responsibility does not erase them. It asks a different question. What can I do with my life from this point forward? Self-blame looks backward and attacks your identity. Responsibility looks at the present and chooses a useful direction. Self-blame says, "I am a failure." Responsibility says, "That decision did not help me. I need a better one." Self-blame creates shame. Responsibility creates information. This difference matters because shame often reduces action. When you believe you are the problem, you may stop trying. You may think change is impossible because something is wrong with who you are. But behavior can be changed. Skills can be learned. Habits can be rebuilt. A mistake can be studied without becoming your identity. Imagine that you spent several years avoiding an important goal. Self-blame may say, "I wasted my life." That thought feels heavy and final. A responsible response would be more honest and useful. "I lost time because I was afraid and unclear. I cannot recover those years, but I can stop losing more." The second statement does not hide the truth. It also gives you a path. You may feel regret. Regret can be valuable when it points toward a better choice. It becomes harmful when you use it to punish yourself every day. Pain is not proof that you are changing. Action is. Some people remain trapped in guilt because guilt feels like payment. They believe that if they suffer enough, they are taking the mistake seriously. But suffering does not repair everything. A sincere apology may help. Changed behavior may help. A boundary, a repayment, a difficult conversation, or a new habit may help. Repeated self-attack usually does not. Responsibility asks you to repair what can be repaired. Then it asks you to live differently. This can feel harder than guilt because it requires action. It may be easier to say, "I am terrible," than to admit, "I need to change how I speak to people." It may be easier to feel ashamed about money than to create a budget and face the numbers. It may be easier to call yourself lazy than to examine your sleep, distractions, fear, and lack of structure. Simple labels hide complex problems. Clear responsibility reveals them. You may discover that your failure was not caused by one weakness. Perhaps the goal was too large. Perhaps the system was unclear. Maybe you were afraid to ask for help. Maybe your environment made the habit difficult. Once you see the real causes, you can make better changes. Responsibility also means recognizing your limits. You cannot fix everything alone. A person may need medical care, therapy, legal help, financial advice, or support from someone with more experience. Asking for help can be part of taking responsibility. The key is that you are choosing to seek support instead of waiting passively. There is strength in saying, "I cannot solve this by myself, but I will take the next step toward help." That is very different from giving up your power. Another part of responsibility is accepting consequences. Every choice has a cost. If you avoid a difficult conversation, the relationship may become more distant. If you spend money without a plan, future freedom becomes smaller. If you ignore your health, your body may eventually demand attention. You do not need to fear consequences. You need to see them clearly. A mature decision includes the future cost, not only the present comfort. This is difficult because the present feeling is loud. The future is quiet. A distraction gives immediate pleasure. A habit gives slow results. An excuse protects you now. Discipline protects you later. Responsibility means learning to hear the quiet future. It asks, how will this choice affect me next week, next year, or 5 years from now? You will not always choose perfectly. No one does. The goal is to become more honest about the direction your choices create. You can practice this with a short daily review. At the end of the day, ask 3 questions. What did I do well? Where did I avoid responsibility? What is one thing I will correct tomorrow? Keep the answers simple. Do not turn the review into another reason to attack yourself. The purpose is awareness. Awareness gives you a chance to adjust. Responsibility also includes giving yourself credit. If you kept a promise, notice it. If you returned after a bad day, notice that too. Growth becomes easier when your mind can see both the problem and the progress. You are not a machine that must be corrected every hour. You are a person learning how to lead your own life. Good leadership includes honesty, patience, boundaries, and direction. You can be firm without being cruel. You can admit a mistake without losing respect for yourself. You can take responsibility without carrying blame for everything in the world. This balanced approach is powerful. It keeps you from hiding behind excuses. It also keeps you from destroying your confidence with shame. The past may explain some of your pain. The present is where your choices begin. Take responsibility for the part that belongs to you. Leave the rest where it belongs. Then use your energy to build what comes next. Chapter 4, Build Self-Trust Through Action. You can lose trust in yourself without noticing. It happens when your words and actions keep moving in different directions. You say you will wake up early, but you stay in bed. You promise to finish the task, but you avoid it. You decide to stop a harmful habit, but you return to it the moment discomfort appears. One broken promise does not destroy self-trust. The problem comes from repetition. Your mind begins to learn that your plans are temporary. Soon, even when you feel motivated, part of you does not believe the new promise. This is why another big speech may not help. You do not rebuild trust with stronger words. You rebuild it with evidence. The best evidence is small, clear, and repeated. Choose a promise that is easy enough to keep, but useful enough to matter. You might decide to work for 20 minutes before touching your phone. You might walk after dinner. You might write 1 page. You might place a small amount of money into savings each week. The action does not need to impress anyone. Its purpose is to teach your mind. When I say I will do something, I begin. At first, the result may feel too small. That is fine. A small promise kept every day has more power than a large plan repeated only in your imagination. Self-trust grows slowly. Think of it like repairing a bridge. One action does not rebuild the whole structure, but each action adds another strong piece. Over time, you can stand on it again. You can also rebuild trust by making your goals more honest. Many plans fail because they are based on the person you wish you were, not the life you currently live. You may plan 3 hours of work when you have only 30 focused minutes. You may create a strict routine that ignores your family, health, job, or energy. When the plan fails, you blame your character. The real problem may be the plan. A realistic goal is not a weak goal. It gives you a chance to build consistency. Start with your current capacity. Then increase the challenge after the habit becomes stable. For example, if you have not exercised for months, a short daily walk may be a better beginning than a difficult 6-day plan. If you struggle to focus, begin with 1 protected work session. If your room is badly disorganized, clean 1 area instead of trying to fix everything in 1 night. Success creates energy. A completed step makes the next step easier. An impossible plan creates shame. Self-trust also depends on how you respond after a mistake. Many people believe discipline means never missing a day. That belief makes them fragile. When they miss 1 day, they feel that the whole plan has failed. A stronger rule is simple. Do not allow 1 mistake to become a new pattern. If you miss 1 workout, return at the next planned time. If you spend a day avoiding work, begin again the next morning. If you react badly in a conversation, apologize and practice a better response. The return is part of the habit. You need to trust not only that you can stay consistent, but also that you can recover. Recovery is one of the most useful skills in life. You will have difficult weeks. Your energy will change. Unexpected problems will interrupt your plan. A person with self-trust does not believe everything will be easy. They believe they can return to direction after difficulty. You can strengthen this ability by reducing emotional drama around mistakes. You do not need to announce that everything is ruined. You do not need to create a new life plan every time you struggle. Pause. Notice what happened. Choose the next useful action. Then move. Self-trust also grows through private effort. When nobody is watching, your choices become very honest. There is no applause. There is no social pressure. There is only the promise you made to yourself. This is where character becomes stronger. You may feel tempted to skip the work because no one will know. But you will know. Your mind records those moments. It records every time you choose comfort over a promise. It also records every time you continue, even though the action feels ordinary. Private effort builds a quiet confidence. You stop needing constant encouragement because you have seen yourself follow through. This does not mean you will never need support. Encouragement is valuable, but it becomes a bonus instead of a requirement. Another way to build self-trust is to stop making promises too quickly. Many people say yes because they want to please others. Later, they feel trapped or fail to follow through. Before you commit, pause. Ask whether you truly have the time, energy, and intention. A careful promise is easier to respect. This applies to promises you make to yourself as well. Do not create 10 new habits during one emotional evening. Choose 1 or 2. Give them enough time to become real. Your confidence will grow when your life begins to match your words. You will feel less divided. The person who plans and the person who acts will start becoming the same person. That change is more important than any temporary burst of motivation. You can begin this process today. Choose one promise for the next 7 days. Make it specific. Choose a time or situation that will trigger the action. Keep the action small enough that excuses have less space to grow. Then record each day you complete it. You are not trying to prove that you are perfect. You are creating evidence that you can rely on yourself. At the end of 7 days, do not immediately make the goal much larger. Ask what helped. Ask what made the action difficult. Improve the system. Then continue. Self-trust is not given to you by another person. It is built through your own repeated behavior. No one can do that part for you, but no one can stop you from beginning either. Chapter 5. Do the work without applause. A lot of people begin when they feel seen. They work harder when someone is watching. They stay consistent when they receive praise. There is nothing wrong with enjoying encouragement. The problem begins when your effort disappears without it. Most important work happens quietly. You may study for months before anyone notices. You may save money while your friends continue spending. You may improve your health before the outside change becomes clear. You may learn a skill through many boring practice sessions. During this period, there may be no applause. People may not understand what you are building. Some may even question why you are trying. This quiet stage is where many goals end. The early excitement fades. The result still feels far away. The work becomes repetitive. At that point, you need a reason deeper than attention. You need to know why the goal matters to you. A strong reason is personal and clear. Perhaps you want better health because you want energy for your family. Maybe you want financial stability because you are tired of living in fear. Perhaps you want discipline because you want to respect yourself again. Your reason should connect the daily action with the life you want. When the task feels boring, return to that connection. Do not expect the reason to create constant excitement. Its purpose is to create direction. Direction is more reliable than motivation. Working without applause also requires patience. Modern life trains you to expect quick feedback. You post something and look for a reaction. You complete a task and want an immediate result. Real growth often moves more slowly. A useful habit may take weeks before you feel different. A skill may take months before it becomes valuable. A strong career may take years to build. Slow progress can feel invisible. That does not mean nothing is happening. A seed spends time below the ground before anything appears above it. Your habits may be doing the same. You are building focus. You are learning to tolerate discomfort. You are becoming more organized. These changes may not be visible in one day, but they prepare the result. The quiet stage also reveals whether you truly want the goal or only the image of the goal. Many people like the idea of success. They imagine respect, freedom, and confidence. They do not always like the repeated work that creates those things. The work may be simple. Wake up, practice, correct mistakes, repeat. There may be no dramatic moment. This is why discipline matters. Discipline helps you continue when the emotional reward is weak. It does not make every day easy. It helps you act even when the day feels ordinary. You can make quiet work easier by measuring the right thing. Do not only measure the final result. Measure your effort and consistency. If your goal is writing, track the days you write. If your goal is fitness, track the sessions you complete. If your goal is saving money, track the amount you protect. The final result may take time. The daily action gives you something you can control. This also protects you from comparison. Other people may appear to move faster. You may not know their starting point, support, experience, or private struggles. Comparison removes your attention from the work in front of you. Use other people as information, not as a reason to feel smaller. Learn what is useful, then return to your path. Working without applause also means becoming comfortable with being misunderstood. When you change, people may notice that you are less available for old habits. You may leave early. You may say no. You may spend time learning instead of joining every social plan. Some people will support you. Others may call you boring, serious, or different. You do not need to prove yourself to everyone. Your choices should be responsible, not popular. This does not mean becoming isolated. Healthy relationships matter, but your life cannot be guided only by the fear of disappointing people. Every meaningful goal requires some form of sacrifice. You may sacrifice comfort. You may sacrifice time. You may sacrifice the approval of people who prefer you without boundaries. Choose the cost carefully, then pay it with purpose. There will also be days when you question whether the effort is worth it. Use those moments to review, not to quit immediately. Ask whether the goal still matters. Ask whether the method is working. Ask whether the plan needs adjustment. Changing a weak method is intelligent. Leaving a meaningful goal only because the work became boring is different. Learn to tell the difference. Sometimes the answer is to continue. Sometimes the answer is to rest. Sometimes the answer is to seek guidance. You do not need to worship suffering. The goal is not to make life harder than necessary. The goal is to stop treating discomfort as proof that you should stop. A quiet worker develops a powerful advantage. They become less dependent on mood. They do not need to tell everyone what they are doing. They let the habit become the announcement. One day, the result becomes visible. People may call it sudden. You will know it was built through many days that looked ordinary. Continue through those days. They are not empty. They are the place where your future is being made. Chapter 6. Create a life you do not need to escape. Many people do not hate their whole life. They hate the way they are living each day. They feel tired, distracted, disconnected, and trapped inside routines they did not choose carefully. So they escape. They scroll for hours. They sleep too much. They stay busy with small tasks. They imagine a different future, but avoid the steps that would create it. Escape is understandable. Sometimes the mind needs rest from pressure. The problem begins when relief replaces change. You feel better for a short time, but the same life is waiting when the distraction ends. Creating a life you do not need to escape does not mean creating a perfect life. Every life includes stress, responsibility, loss, and boring work. The goal is to build a life that feels honest. Your days should contain something that matters to you. Your habits should support the person you want to become. Your relationships should allow respect. Your work may not be perfect, but it should not destroy every part of you. This kind of life is built through many small corrections. Begin with your environment. Look at the places where you spend most of your time. Does your room help you rest or increase your stress? Does your workspace make focus easier? Is your phone controlling your attention from the moment you wake up? You do not need an expensive home. You need an environment that supports your basic needs. Clean one area. Remove one distraction. Keep useful objects where you can reach them. Make the good action easier to begin. Your environment quietly shapes your behavior. The people around you also influence your life. You do not need to leave everyone who is imperfect. No relationship is perfect, but you should notice patterns. Do certain conversations always leave you ashamed, angry, or hopeless? Do people respect your boundaries? Can you speak honestly without being punished for every difference? Are you always giving while receiving no care in return? Some relationships need better communication. Some need distance. A few may need to end. These decisions can be painful, but protecting your peace is part of responsibility. You cannot build a better life while repeatedly allowing the same harm to enter it. Your work deserves attention too. Many people cannot leave a difficult job immediately. Bills and responsibilities are real, but staying does not have to mean giving up. You can create a transition plan. Learn one skill. Save a small amount. Update your resume. Speak to someone in another field. Apply consistently. A plan may take time, but it changes the meaning of your current situation. You are no longer only trapped. You are preparing an exit. The same idea applies to debt, poor health, low confidence, and other long problems. A large problem often needs a slow plan. Do not reject the plan because it cannot fix everything this month. Direction matters. A person walking slowly toward freedom is in a different position from a person waiting without action. Creating a better life also requires deciding what better means for you. Many people chase goals they did not choose. They want a certain job because it looks impressive. They want expensive things because those things signal success. They fill their schedule because being busy makes them feel important. Then they reach the goal and still feel empty. A useful life is not built only around appearance. Ask what you actually value. Do you value peace, freedom, family, learning, health, creative work, service, stability? Your values should influence your schedule. If health matters, your day needs space for sleep, movement, and food. If family matters, your attention must be available sometimes. If freedom matters, your financial choices need to support it. Values without time are only words. Look at your calendar and ask whether your life matches what you say matters. You may not be able to change everything at once. Choose one area where the difference is clear. Make a small correction. You also need healthy rest. A life without rest becomes another prison. Rest is not the same as endless distraction. Real rest leaves you clearer. It may include sleep, quiet time, exercise, nature, prayer, music, reading, or time with people who make you feel safe. Distraction often leaves you more tired. Learn the difference in your own body. You are allowed to enjoy your life while building it. You do not need to delay all happiness until you reach a goal. A good meal, a clean room, a walk, a conversation, or an hour without pressure can remind you that life is happening now. This makes discipline more sustainable. You are not punishing yourself into a better future. You are learning how to care for the life you already have while improving it. There will still be days you want to escape. Notice what those days are telling you. Maybe you are exhausted. Maybe a boundary is missing. Maybe your plan is too heavy. Maybe you are avoiding a necessary decision. Use the desire to escape as information. Do not always obey it. Ask what needs to change underneath it. A better life is rarely created by one rescue event. It grows through small acts of honesty. You stop pretending a problem will disappear. You admit what is no longer working. You take one step toward a different pattern. Then you repeat. Over time, your daily life becomes less painful to return to. That is real progress. Chapter 7. Become your own rescue. The phrase "save yourself" can sound lonely. It may sound like you must reject everyone, hide your pain, and carry every burden alone. That is not the meaning. Becoming your own rescue means accepting your role in your future. It means you stop waiting passively. You become willing to seek help, make decisions, create boundaries, and do the daily work. You become the person who moves the process forward. A rescue does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it is an appointment you finally make. Sometimes it is a number you block. Sometimes it is a morning routine. Sometimes it is the decision to learn, save, leave, apologize, or begin again. These choices may look small from the outside. Inside your life, they can change everything. You become your own rescue when you stop abandoning yourself. Self-abandonment happens when you ignore your needs to keep everyone comfortable. It happens when you remain silent while resentment grows. It happens when you know a habit is harming you, but keep choosing it for short relief. You may have learned to abandon yourself because it once helped you survive. Maybe being quiet kept the peace. Maybe pleasing others kept you accepted. Maybe distraction helped you avoid pain that felt too large. Do not hate the older version of you for using those strategies. Understand why they began. Then decide whether they still belong in your life. A survival habit can become a prison after the danger has passed. You are allowed to learn a new response. Becoming your own rescue also requires self-respect. Self-respect is not a feeling of superiority. It is the way you treat your own life. You show self-respect when you protect your health. You show it when you keep a boundary. You show it when you stop speaking to yourself with constant cruelty. You show it when you do work that supports your future. These actions tell your mind that your life has value. Other people may not always see your value clearly. That can hurt, but their failure to see it does not have to become your identity. You need an inner standard. Ask, what choice would respect the person I am trying to become? That question can guide you when emotions become confusing. The respectful choice may not be the easiest one. It may require saying no. It may require leaving comfort. It may require admitting that you need help. Self-respect and courage often work together. You also need a plan for difficult moments. Motivation will not always be available. Create simple rules before the hard day arrives. When I feel overwhelmed, I will reduce the task instead of quitting. When I make a mistake, I will return the next day. When I want to send an angry message, I will wait and read it again. When I feel alone, I will contact one safe person instead of disappearing. Rules like these protect you when emotion is loud. They reduce the need to make every decision from the beginning. Your future self will benefit from the structure you create now. There may be moments when life truly feels too heavy. In those moments, being your own rescue can mean reaching out. Call someone, speak to a professional, ask for practical help, tell the truth about what is happening. Strength does not require silence. You remain active when you seek the right support. The important thing is that you do not disappear from your own life. Stay involved in your recovery. Stay involved in your decisions. Stay involved in the next step. You may not receive the exact help you hoped for. Someone may disappoint you. A plan may fail. The first attempt may not work. Do not use that result as proof that nothing can change. Adjust. Look for another path. Try a smaller step. Learn from what happened. Persistence is not doing the same thing forever. It is remaining committed to the direction while improving the method. Over time, you will notice a change. You will stop asking, "Who will fix this for me?" You will begin asking, "What can I do next and what support would help?" That is a powerful question. It includes responsibility and wisdom. It does not pretend you control everything. It focuses on what remains possible. Your life may never become easy in every area, but you can become more capable. You can create better systems. You can choose healthier people. You can learn how to recover. You can build enough self-trust to face the next problem without immediately giving up. This is what it means to become your own rescue. You become someone who can be counted on. Not because you never struggle, because you no longer leave yourself alone inside the struggle. Remember this when you feel stuck. No one may arrive with the perfect answer. There may be no dramatic sign. You may not feel fully ready. Begin anyway. Clean one corner. Send one application. Take one walk. Ask one question. Set one boundary. Keep one promise. Small actions can carry you out of places that once felt permanent. Your future does not need a perfect hero. It needs your participation. Stop waiting for another person to take control of your life. Accept help when it is healthy. Learn from people who have wisdom. Let love support you, but keep your hands on the direction. Your life is still yours. The next choice is still yours. Use it well. No one is coming to live your life for you. That is not bad news. It means you can stop waiting. You can begin with the time, strength, knowledge, and support you have today. Take one honest step, then take another when you are ready. You do not have to rescue your whole life in one moment. You only have to stop abandoning the next step.